And
Yeah.
okay, and so you're in kindergarten.
Or first grade, kindergarten, first grade.
Okay, so from what you see from like your mom, do you feel like if anything that your mom had is in you now, any of her traits?
Yeah,
Kind of
absolutely. Definitely her wacky tendencies, as you can tell by this disgusting outfit I'm wearing. Not that she wears disgusting outfits, because my mother is very glamorous and very attractive, in my opinion.
And so are you.
Thank you. But no, my mother's a performer, and she's also, I guess that's the best way to quickly sum it up. And I have a lot from my father as well, definitely in terms of I can just tell by the way like I analyze things, the way that I interact with other people. Definitely a lot of that comes from my father. This is a terrible interview.
No, it's fine. I mean, maybe it's my fault, but okay.
Never mind.
No.
I hope you edit this out.
No. This is all gonna be here. There's no editing at all, so you're gonna have to deal with it. Sorry, Kristen, but you're doing great.
Okay, anyway.
And so so you think like the way your parents met is how like you meet people too, like as in terms of like.
I do think that in terms of spontaneity and being able to meet someone, and I feel like a lot of people when they do meet other people, it's very superficial and very much like, oh hi, yeah, what do you do? What's your or here it's well, what's your major? Where are you from? What's your name? And then it stops there, and you don't remember it 5 minutes later, and you don't really connect. But definitely when my parents when they met, they really opened up and were vulnerable in that we're going to get to know each other because we're being introduced to each other and we're going to be friends. And so in terms of like when I meet someone, it's very much like I'm going to get to know you and etc.
So you're pretty much genuine when you meet someone at first.
Yeah.
Are you ever selective? If you see someone you kind of prejudgmental and you're like, I'm just gonna go with the flow. Do you ever do that? I mean, as in like you're just kind of answering questions. You're not really.
Oh, not really picking. Well, yeah, sure. Just because you can't be that in tune all the time.
The Norwegian boy. How'd you feel when you met him? What?
Nothing. That was fine. I thought he was very attractive and commented on his clothing.
See, that's kind of like how your parents met, right? You
thought it is.
He was very attractive.
Very attractive. I commented on his clothing, and turns out that he's somewhat Scottish as well. And I started rambling about Scottish history, and he said, "Oh, are you a history major?" I said, "No." Well, he either history or philosophy, and he's a philosophy major, and we just started talking that way. So instead of just like the generic like, "Oh, yeah, well."
So the way you guys met was different than how you've met.
Well, I think when I do meet people, I think I like to ask them questions that I would honestly want to know, like, well, what is your ethnicity, and where does your family come from, or what is your favorite flavor of ice cream, stuff that you really care about. No, but I think it was what, yeah. Can you swing dance? That's another good question.
I've always wanted to learn how to swing dance, but I feel wrong to dance with other women. It just, I'm dating someone, so.
You can dance with other people.
Well, it just doesn't, there's just not as fun,
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, but anyways, what was I gonna say? Like, how often does a story pop up in the normal
how my parents met?
Yeah, it's just like people ask you, or just sometimes you bring it up randomly? I
don't really address it at all. I mean, I guess on occasion people will be like, oh, how did your parents meet? Or, generally it's, oh, well, what's your parents' like background in terms of, like, they'll ask, or something, sometimes it will come up, where do they go to school? And it's like, oh, well, both my parents went to Pepperdine University in Malibu, and that's why, that's where they met. Or people ask, like, oh, why did your family move to Malibu? Because that's where we live now. And it's like, oh, well, both my parents went to Pepperdine, and that's actually how they met, and now we're still there. And so it generally comes up that way, rather than, oh, how did your parents meet? Oh, they were playing tennis, and,
I see. So it really never crosses your mind, like, your daily life. It's just when people ask you. So, like, if you were to meet someone new, you wouldn't even think about that
situation. It wouldn't be the first thing I would offer. Gee, let me tell you about how my parents met.
It's not a kind of monumental, like, story or anything. It's just kind of a small story you've known since you were young and stuck with you.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kristen.
You're very welcome.
You're very entertaining.
Oh, I'm glad.
You know the class is gonna see this.
What?
The class is gonna see this.
Great.
So you'll be very
I'll make some
entertaining.
new friends.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.